They're off over 2 miles and off to a good start. Heads up, turns into the straight, 5 in front of Jacob's Ladder. Alongside is She's a Kind of Magic with a couple of lengths to Mr. Frosty. Jerry from Kerry on the inside, followed by Pour One More. Towards the back end of the field, Jamada and Scommel and up the straight they come. Out in front is Heads Up from Jacob's Ladder. She's a Kind of Magic, and Jerry and Kerry has moved up on the inside with a little break then to Mr. Frosty and Pour One More. Jamada and Scommel the final couple. Heads Up with a slightly reduced advantage of 4 lengths over Jacob's Ladder. She's a Kind of Magic, Jerry from Kerry, followed by Mr. Frosty and Pour One More, Jamada and Scommel. Racing up to the top of the course. Heads Up is all the while coming back to Jacob's Ladder, who's now within 2.5 lengths. She's a Kind of Magic is joined for the 3rd spot by Jerry from Kerry, and then 4 lengths to Mr. Frosty and Pour One More, Jamada, and finally Scommel. Up at the top of the hill, Heads Up, Finn Buckley extending their lead again over Jacob's Ladder and Josh Williamson. And then Jerry from Kerry and Michael O'Neill. She's a Kind of Magic and Anya O'Connor. They're nicely spaced from first to last. Mr. Frosty is 5th. After Mr. Frosty is Jamada, and then Pour One More. And last of all is Scommel. Heading downhill to the bottom of the track. Heads Up continues to lead the way to Jacob's Ladder. Jerry from Kerry is just shading 3rd from She's a Kind of Magic. And then Mr. Frosty, Scommel, Pour One More, and Jamada. Turning into the back straight, soon at halfway, the Mervyn Gray Construction winners of 1. And it's Heads Up, leading by over 5 lengths now to Jacob's Ladder, then Jerry from Kerry. She's a Kind of Magic, and then Pour One More, Mr. Frosty alongside, and then Jamada and Scommel. Right across from us, Heads Up, leads by 6 lengths, passing halfway from Jacob's Ladder, 2 up on Jerry from Kerry, and She's a Kind of Magic, and then Mr. Frosty, Scommel is now 2 behind, and ridden along Pour One More and Jamada. Heading to the far end of the back straight, and it's Heads Up, maintaining good 5-length advantage over Jacob's Ladder. Just wrestling back to 3rd, She's a Kind of Magic from Jerry from Kerry. Together next, Mr. Frosty and Pour One More, and then Scommel and Jamada. Turning with 5 furlongs to run. It's Heads Up, in front from the outset. And retains a useful-looking lead over Jacob's Ladder, who's getting a nudge in 2nd, and She's a Kind of Magic, Jerry from Kerry and Pour One More. Out in front of Jamada, and then Scommel and Mr. Frosty. 3.5 furlongs out as they return to their point of departure. And it is Heads Up. Has Jacob's Ladder off the bridle now. And then She's a Kind of Magic and Jerry from Kerry. After them is Pour One More. Turning into the straight. 2.5 furlongs to go. The Mervyn Gray Construction winners of 1 bumper. And it's been all Heads Up from the start. She's a Kind of Magic turns in a remote 2nd, then Pour One More. Well beaten off as Jacob's Ladder, and then Jerry from Kerry. But racing to the final furlong and a half, it is Heads Up Relentless from She's a Kind of Magic, followed then by Pour One More. Jerry from Kerry is next, well inside the final furlong. Heads Up has gone unsighted in the final race. Under Finn Buckley for trainer John McConnell has romped to victory. Heads Up. She's a Kind of Magic and Pour One More.
Well, we were talking beforehand about this horse making a nice bit of progression from his 1st to his 2nd run. I think he's taken it up a level from runs 2 to 3 with that performance. Heads Up did pinch a few lengths out the gate, Ruby, but they're only ever really looked like